G'day church, hope you're doing well, coming out of another weekend of great opportunities just to worship God together. I know I had a great time in our live stream yesterday exploring the book of Esther chapter 4 with us as a church. I hope you were encouraged and challenged as I was in that. There's a couple of things that I just want to discuss as we reflect on the passage in a little bit more detail, but just want to go over the 3 points that I covered as you go back and read Esther chapter 4, that God loves to use fallible, broken people in powerful and beautiful ways. I just love that Esther, despite how she progressed to a certain position, was able to be used by God as she, in a sense, turned back to Him, and we see that through her request of fasting in that time. It was interesting that we explored that well-known quote verse, "for such a time as this." But I just want to quickly look at the last point I was talking about, and that was wearing your God-given identity jacket. And the question is, why did Esther conceal her faith? We read in Esther that Mordecai had asked her to. So is Mordecai to blame, or did she have free will? I would say that Esther had free will to choose to pursue and follow what Mordecai said or not to. I think it's easy for us to put the blame on other people sometimes for things that we do or don't do. So I just want to talk about quickly what it looks like for us as we follow Jesus to wear our God-given identity jacket proudly. Cherishing the colour, its protection, God's provision, and His guidance for us. There's a couple of things. So I want to ask a question. Who or what tells us or tries to influence us as we follow Jesus to conceal our faith? As I was thinking about that, I think there's a couple of things. Our culture. We live in a secular culture, and our culture is saying that the Christian voice must be suppressed. So we need to be asking the question, how much are we allowing our culture to determine how we externally live out our faith, or the contrary, to conceal it so no one knows what is happening within our hearts? The second, I think, if we look in our workplaces, the model of business says that often business and Christianity sit separate. I don't see that at all. I think they go hand in hand, actually inseparable. So I want to just explore quickly what it looks like for us to live a genuine faith. And I just want to use an example in business particularly. My wife and I had a coffee business out at Eaglehawk, and we had an opportunity to set the culture of what we believed, living out what we believed, what was happening in our heart as we followed Jesus. There was a couple of examples. When I would go into the coffee van with our barista, I was thinking through, how can I actually help her to know what I stand for and what I believe? When I would come into a sermon or a conversation I was about to have, I would say to her, can I run something by you? This is a conversation I need to have. This is a sermon I need to do. Can I just run it by you? And I would actually have an opportunity to give her a sermon, and then for her to feed back and for me to take her advice on. But just that's one really quick example. Something I just want to highlight is this: the suppression of our faith is really a conflict between the power struggle going on between the Spirit and our flesh. And I encourage you to go back to Galatians 5, because it says, "Walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of your flesh." So I just want to leave it at that as we put our God-given identity jacket on, we're actually saying that I am choosing to follow the Spirit, the fruits of the Spirit also named in Galatians 5, which is the external expression of what that looks like. But I encourage you, church, to wear your faith proudly. Don't suppress it. Talk about it with passion, so people really know that we're serious about it, that we're not pushing religion, but we are just expressing a personal relationship that we have with Jesus Christ. And as a result, church, we know that people's eyes will be turned to Him, that it won't be about personal pride. We'll be able to humble ourselves and help bring people in to the presence of God. So church, hope you're encouraged. Hope you've got your jacket on, wearing it proudly, and knowing that brings the greatest purpose to your life that it could ever have.